Should be. Our volumes are working.
Oh, David.
Hi, Joshua Pants.
The reason we're late today is because Dave had to use the restroom. Cheers.
So I woke up this morning and I was getting ready to leave for the day, and Landon made the comment to me. He goes, "Dada, your hair is really tall and spiky today." I said, "Yes, Landon. Well, today we were talking about the big, beautiful bill. I needed to have big, beautiful hair for this conversation." And he didn't laugh at it. He didn't like the dad joke. So
You have big, beautiful hair.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that.
You know, the people are calling this Trump's big, beautiful bill. Do you think he has big, beautiful hair?
Plead the fifth.
We're going to make a very non-political show today, and sometimes it's hard for Dave to do. So,
for me.
Well, welcome to Java with Josh. This is our June episode. May was so stellar, we stopped 11 minutes into it, and
right back to the main.
all right. And we had some massive technical issues where the internet just went, nope, we're done.
Yep.
And when you're doing a presentation about AI and we're going to use it live, that was a problem.
Minute.
Yeah, so we still owe you viewers a recap of that, but I appreciate those of you that logged in for the wonderful 11 minutes that we had there.
That's right.
So, well, Dave, I always like to start with a little bit of what's going on in my life, and I grew up playing sports like crazy. That was my life, as was yours.
Yeah.
I now have 3 wonderful children, and my boys, they don't play the same sports I do. Alex plays soccer. Alex plays soccer, but he's not playing the baseball and the basketball and the stuff that like was my life. And it took me a while to kind of be okay with that. And I don't know why it sounds weird and selfish, I guess.
I get it.
But Alex has really taken to guitar. And we've talked about this before, as School of Rock. And it's so cool because neither Missy nor I have any musical talent whatsoever. And the kid just loves to play guitar. And I like live shows. You were actually the one who got me into music quite a bit in high school. And so we like going to live shows. And one of my favorite live shows I ever saw was Five for Fighting, John Ondrasik, with a string quartet at Shuba's in Chicago. There was maybe 150 people in this place, and we were right up next to the stage. It was awesome. Shuba's is in Southport, not too far from Wrigley Field, and it's just a cool place. There's been some amazing bands that have played there. And Alex just finished his spring School of Rock band, and he was the Beatles, which he loves the Beatles.
Yep.
And we got to go to Shuba's to watch Alex play. That's Alex on the right there.
Awesome.
He was up on the same stage that every other major band has played on up there, which is so cool. And it's School of Rock did something funny. You can see my big belly with my shirt there that says they crossed out Soccer Dad and put Rocker Dad. I thought that was kind of fun. So that was.
Did you show Al any videos of like previous performers who are on the same stage as him?
No, that'd be a fun one to do. We actually got pictures of he's got 5 buddies who do it with him, and we have pictures of them in front of him. We have pictures in front of the Shuba sign. So we keep telling them later in life when they're at college and they're trying to introduce themselves to a significant other, and be like, I've played Shuba's. Yeah.
I
played Shuba's.
That's right. You don't have to go into any more detail on that. You just leave it just like that. Good for him.
And you had a fun weekend. Your son is living your life.
Yeah. It took a while to not live
which is scary.
Very scary. He's going to be a lot better than me. Yeah, so like Josh and I share updates, and I feel like my wife and I, our life is consumed with travel baseball right now. But we did have a fun tournament this past weekend in Oswego. So grandparents watching this, my dad is in from Colorado, and so he had to wake up at 4:30 Colorado time to make this trip out to Oswego for an 8:00 game. So this is the consolation bracket. We won the consolation bracket, which was really cool for our boys. First tournament that they won. It wasn't technically like they didn't take first place in the whole tournament, but in their bracket they did.
I'm loving it. Landon's in the lower right there, and I love his arm sleeve USA bandana.
Oh yeah,
whatever. That is pretty cool.
Yeah,
it looks tough.
Yeah, we got him all Memorial Day stuff like that, and he still wore it. And little plug here, little shout out to my main homie Landon, pitched a complete game in that championship game. So Yeah, it was pretty cool.
As soon as I heard that, I joked that he was going to Mark Pryor his arm, and we're not going to.
We take arm care very seriously. He only threw 53 pitches, but he took care of business. But yeah.
Well, before we get too far in here, compliance. Everything we're about to say is for informational purposes only, and actually today is nothing real factual. We're kind of talking about kind of a lot of what's out there, but don't treat it as specific advice. If you'd like specific advice, we're happy to give it to you. But what we're about to go through today is for informational purposes only.
Beautiful.
Dave, just so you should know, I didn't update the bottom half, so I wouldn't rely on that part of our program.
I won't.
Dave and I actually have a program. It's actually mapped out. It is most weeks or most months too. Yeah. So
even months where tech fails us.
Yeah, but now I'm going to let you kind of talk about the next one here. What is Java with Josh?
Sure thing. Yeah, I feel like a broken record. I feel kind of like you when you give all your presentations month in, month out. Java with Josh is a monthly YouTube show where we go live, attempt to go live.
We're live right now.
We are live right now. No issues. And what Josh and our other advisors will do a few days before we go live, they will pick out a timely and relevant financial topic that is catching some headlines. And this month, the big, beautiful bill won our attention here in the office. And yeah, the world needs more Josh Bretl. So we're giving the world more Josh Bretl. Speaking of which, thank you to the three of you that have liked this video so far. I feel like an influencer every time I ask this. It feels kind of slimy, but all y'all who are watching right now, if you hit that like button, that really does help YouTube's algorithm. It helps other people find our show, which is really cool. So be grateful if you hit that little thumbs up right now. Watch that number climb. It'd be really cool.
Our kids watch YouTube all the time. I don't know if your kids do. My kids watch YouTube all the time. And every time I walk in the room, I hear someone say, hit the like button and subscribe. Hit the like button and subscribe.
I know.
Apparently, there's a reason for it. So,
there is a reason.
I appreciate you guys doing that. Upcoming shows, July 9th, the week after the 4th of July. It's going to come up here quicker than you know it. August 13th. You know what August 13th is?
No.
Back to school day in Elmhurst.
Oh.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
So we may be changing that day.
We may not. I don't know. They're going to be in school. What else am I going to do? And then,
you guys have big parties usually, don't you?
No, that's the end of school.
End of school.
And then, of course, we have in September 11th.
Yep.
So I hope you all can join us. And if you can't join us here, if you want to do it in addition, I highly encourage you to tune into the Own Your Retirement radio show on Saturday mornings on WLS 890 AM. On your dial. We talk from 7 to 8 a.m. It's not a live show like this because I guess we're afraid of technical difficulties. It's actually recorded. I'm recording one right after we do this show here with my co-host Mark Elliott. It's the topic's a little bit different than what we talk about here. So
yeah,
it's kind of a fun show to do, and I encourage people to listen to it here. So.
Not like it matters. We're way out. I think it's actually September 10th. I think I put a typo in there for a September show, but everyone's going to forget that date in a few minutes. Anyway,
yeah, well, I don't even know why we put it up there that far out.
Don't even know.
That's really not important. But
no, exactly.
If you are listening to this, one of the best things that you can do if you are interested in learning more about just retirement in general, or B, Social Security, every month we give live Social Security presentations, and the reason we give those presentations is for a couple of reasons. One is Social Security has a major role in almost every single person's retirement. And if you... Dave.
Oh.
That one's on you.
Look, I'm going to go fix it really quick while you talk.
So Social Security has a major role in almost every single person's retirement. And how it impacts your retirement, how it impacts your retirement is different. And we love talking about... Let's see, did it work, Dave? It likes you. The OBSBot really likes you. This is going to be fun. But I just turned tracking off on it.
Okay.
But we have found these Social Security presentations are a great intro to how our firm thinks, and it's a great way to teach people about retirement in general, and also the topic that's so important to people in Social Security. So if you are able to attend, or if you'd like to attend or hear more, our next ones in July are at Arlington Heights, the Arlington Lakes Golf Club. Tuesday, July 15th, we have two of them, one at 11:30 in the morning and one at 6:30 at night. And then the following day, Wednesday, July 16th at 6:30 in the evening. So I do hope that you're able to attend.
And you can email info@FSR Wealth to, I didn't put the URL on there.
Oh, yeah. Or, feel free if you want to make a comment here. Michael will reach out to our office as well. Oh, there's
which
our
one's
behind
that?
the scenes view.
Oh, so here, then I just need to go change this really quick. Here.
So I'm going to let Dave mess around with this. And the reason we're working on this camera here is we're about to get to our main topic, which is going to be the big, beautiful bill and how it impacts you. And Dave doesn't always like to have his face on camera. So, all right, we're good now. And so it's actually I'm going to go to close up here. There. Isn't that crazy? I don't know why you'd want my face that much in the screen, but apparently we do. But before we do that, I want to make sure that that was done right. So now I do want to talk about one more thing here, and this is the mission statement of FSR Wealth Strategies. I make this joke inside of my workshops, but Alex, at 11 years old, will tell people he can't wait until he retires. And retirement is part of your life that you look forward to that's coming up here. And we always say that FSR Wealth Strategies exist to help make retirement the best part of your life. And if we can even play a small part in that in yours, we are excited to do so. So.
And don't forget, we have the live poll, too. So
I forgot about that.
Yep.
Dave was joking. He always sends out these emails the day before Java with Josh to kind of give you guys a heads up of what we're talking about, as well as to remind you the show is going to be live. And he goes, "Hey, I'm going to do a live poll this month." And we did one before, and I think we had like 20 people respond to it.
Yeah.
But you put Trump in the subject line of the thing, of the email.
Yeah.
And the live poll this time has, let's go to it right now.
I probably have to.
Oh, there it is.
I think it's, I don't know if that screen shows it, but it was over 70 last time I checked. 70 people. Oh, down in the bottom right. Can you see that little, like?
Yeah, it's really
Small.
not big.
69 people. 70 people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, but the question was, which of the following could be a potential tax benefit or tax change, not benefit, included in Trump's big, beautiful bill that might affect retirees? And the truth of the matter is, you can look at the respondents there. It's, the two biggest respondents were a reduction in capital gains tax rate, which, to be honest, we're not seeing. And the second is an increase in the standard deduction, which we are seeing. And the third one in there was a tax on Social Security benefits. And there's all sorts of things that are going on out there. We're going to talk about the big, beautiful bill. But I think one of the things that this Mintometer or this poll shows is that a lot of people have no idea what's happening. And we're going to go through that here. So let's have some
Get started
here. All right. Let's go to the iPad. Oh,
Yes.
Look, it's working. I love when it works here. So what we're seeing here is the Own Your Retirement Planning process. And these are the 5 areas that we focus on inside of your retirement. And we always say you can't work on one and not the other. They all go hand in hand with each other. And so we're spinning around like crazy. And they all go hand in hand with each other. And the first one we talk about a lot is retirement income. This is where is your money going to come from. The second one is investments and wealth protection. This is the investing portion of it. Just because you're retired doesn't mean you don't want to earn money anymore, but you do think about it differently. The third, and what we're going to spend today talking about, is actually tax planning and tax minimization. Taxes have the single largest impact of anything that you can do in retirement, and we want to make sure that that is covered for you, especially as we talk about all the taxation changes that are coming through here. The third one, or the fourth one, and the fifth one, we're not going to spend much time on tonight or this afternoon, is healthcare and long-term care, legacy and estate planning. Actually, we will touch inside of the bill a little bit with that, but it's all important in how they work together. So now, going forward here, this one big, beautiful bill, this was a screen grab I took from ABC News at some point in time, and it's kind of funny to hear it called that. I don't know why, and they've started naming bills recently. But Dave, I found something that brought up childhood memories, and actually, I don't know if you remember the It's Just a Bill guy.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now that one character probably taught me more than any other single cartoon could possibly teach me.
Yep.
In inside of school. I don't know, but what's about to happen? You remember this guy here? Let's see.
Well, I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long...
Well, what I wanted to point out here.
Technical difficulties. Okay, we got it to work somehow.
Audio coming from everywhere. But what I want to point out is what we're about to go through here. This is not final. This is just what we're seeing up until this moment. There's a lot that could happen. Right now, the bill has passed the House at the end of May, and we are still waiting to see what happens to it. What the Senate does, and then once the Senate is done, has to come back into the House for reconciliation. So as we get through that, let's understand here what's happening. So first off, what does the White House say this bill delivers? What are they pushing out there? And they say the White House says that this bill this is what they're prompting here is it's a 15% tax cuts for earners between $30,000 and $80,000. Okay, we don't know where they're getting that from. They said there'd be a $5,000 yearly gain for median income families with 2 kids. And they say that it avoids the 22% tax hike for all average investors. Now, when you see stuff like that, I want you guys to all recognize and notice that is they're using numbers to their advantage. So I wanted to go through, and anybody does that. It's not just because of this administration. Every administration does that. But I wanted to show you what was actually in the bill that is going to impact retirees. So let's talk about that here. First off, they're talking about extending the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the lower rates that come through. And so what does that mean? And what I thought I would show you is I want to start by pointing out, sorry, get my pen here, right? Over here on the right, this is what the tax rates were before the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, before Trump's big first bill in 2018. Up to $18,000, it was at 10%. Up to $75,000, you paid 15%. If you made $153,000, it was 25, 28, 33 for anything over $233. Then we went to 35, anything over 400, and anything over 470 was 39.6. Now, what were some of the big changes? And what I'm showing you here, these are 2021 rates, and you say, hey, that's a long time ago. The reason I did that is actually, A, I found this picture pretty easily, but B, 2020, the rates get adjusted for inflation. And so these are as close to apples and apples that I could find out there. So the rates do change a little bit. But the 10% bracket remained pretty much the same. The 15% bracket, all that did is went to 12. The rest of it's indexed for inflation. The 22 actually got a little bit bigger. So we had a 3% reduction here, and we had a 3% reduction here. Now, this is the interesting bracket, and this is the one that a lot of our clients really focus on. The 24% bracket, that's a 4% reduction here, or 4 divided by 28, whatever that number is really helpful. I think I got it. Yeah, what Dave's worried about here is, you guys can't see this, but the camera that I'm pointing to right here had a giant red flash-in light on it. And he goes, uh-oh, I think the battery may die. And so he was running out of here to go get the
next door.
Yeah, yep. the thing. So
thank you, Brian.
Now, what we're looking at here, though, is not only did that rate go down, but we also expanded. Look how high that bracket went to look where it is in 2021. So you could have a significantly more income and pay a lower rate. Now, the higher brackets didn't change quite as much unless you got into the really high income. Anything over 470 was at 39.6. Now you could actually be at 35 or 37, which that's a pretty substantial savings. Now, why is this important? Because if you want to look, and especially at this bracket right here, we've been talking a lot for years and years about the importance of Roth conversions. And if we can get it out at a cheaper rate for you now than we can in the future, that becomes really important. Now, the reason this bill is so important in extending it is if they don't extend it, what happens is we automatically go back to these rates here. We automatically go back to the old rates starting in January 1st of next year. So the extension keeps these new rates for a longer period of time. Now, what they're actually talking about, what the House bill does, is the House bill actually makes those rates permanent. Right now, they're temporary. That makes them permanent, which is a massive change that's out there. So this has an impact for people who have a lot of IRA money that's yet to be taxed. You hopefully can get it out at a lower tax rate. It extends those Roth conversion timelines, which is something that we watch very closely here in our office. Now, the next big thing that is changing is they are talking about increasing the standard deduction for seniors. So right now, a senior is defined as anyone over age 65. And so if you are married this year, so in 2025, you would get a $30,000 standard deduction. I'm going to talk about what that means here in a second. And if this is without the bill, you'd get an extra $3,800 just for being over 65. So the standard deduction in 2025 for a married couple would be $33,800. Now, what they're talking about is giving you an extra $4,000 of standard deduction. So your standard deduction then would go to $37,800. Now, for single people, it's a little different. I put the numbers over there. It's not a $4,000 increase. It's a $2,000 increase. But this increased standard deduction. Now, why is that important? Well, what I want to point out here is how this standard deduction works. And this is the same math that I use quite a bit as we're talking to advisors here in our office and people that come in, is if you look at, first we have our income. The first thing you look at, I'm handwriting.
All right,
on any tax return.
If you need a translation, just let me know, guys.
Yeah, my handwriting is really bad.
Does it say Encore?
It says income.
Oh,
First, we have
okay.
income. So this is all your income. This is the money coming out of your IRAs, your 401ks, your wages. And let's say it comes to $100,000. Okay. Next, we have deductions. And the biggest deductions that most people have, and they look at, remember, as you do people's tax returns, you look at the fact that they'll send you their mortgage interest, and they'll send you their property taxes, their state income taxes, and their charitable contributions and all this stuff. And so right now, the way we have it is you can deduct taxes, both state of Illinois taxes, or any state that you live in, as well as property taxes. And so let's say our state of Illinois taxes, if you're still working on $100,000 of income, that might be $5,000. Your property taxes, they might be $12,000, or they might be $15,000 or $18,000, or property taxes can be pretty high. But right now, there's a cap on that part of the deduction. So this comes to $17,000, but the most that we're allowed to deduct is actually $10,000. That doesn't matter if you're married or single. $10,000 is the same. And actually, Dave, if you want to show this comment here, Joe is made a comment here.
Do you know Joe?
I do know Joe. Yeah.
Okay, so and just a heads up, we can't hide last names. When I put this up there, I'll make a note of that in future emails. Like we don't. So I'm going to show the full first and last name, Joe. Hopefully you're okay with that. But here's a quick comment from Joe.
Joe says the changes will be permanent, but they can be changed by future administrations.
But can it be? He's asking you. Can
can it be
the
changed?
Permanent tax rates be changed?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Any administration can make any change that they want to. Hence, a lot of what we're seeing right now is that's out there. And so the permanence of this is really the interesting part. So, but no, it can be changed. It's not. It's just that it's not going to automatically go back with that. So. But back here in the deductions, so your taxes are limited to $10,000, and then you might have some mortgage interest. Now, a lot of our clients try and pay off their mortgage as much as they can. But let's say you have, $6,000 of mortgage interest, and you're charitable. You might, be very charitable, and you might have $6,000 of charitable contributions. Well, right now, if I look here, you're limited to 10 here, 6 and 6. That's $22,000 of deductions. Well, what you're going to want is you're going to want the higher of those two deductions. You're going to want those standard deductions that are going to be $37,800. So instead of taking 22, I'd rather have $37,800 as my deduction. So what's happening here is they're essentially giving you more deductions for people who are retirees. In fact, one of Trump's big comments that he wanted to make Social Security tax-free, and that became much harder. And this was their kind of their caveat there. They're going to try and increase the standard deduction that's there. So this standard deduction change is going to be a major change that's going to impact a lot of people. It's something we're watching quite closely there. Now, the other big change, and this one is being hotly debated, is the SALT deduction is being quadrupled. SALT, Dave, isn't this a fun one?
Yeah.
Stands for state and local tax. That's what I was telling you. You can deduct your property taxes and your income taxes. Now, being in Illinois, this becomes important. Illinois is one of those states that's impacted because we have such high property taxes and you have high income taxes. So right now, what's happening is, let's say you have property taxes. They could be, we have clients with property taxes over $20,000. The income tax they might pay, that might be another $20,000, and we add those two up, that's $40,000 that could normally be deducted before the SALT limitation, but because of the limitation, we're now limited to $10,000. Well, by quadrupling this, as long as your income is less than $500,000, you can take that full $40,000 deduction. So at that point in time, you add that on top of whatever charitable or the mortgage interest. Now our itemized deductions become a lot more powerful for some of those higher taxed states. So this is something that we're watching quite closely. Now, those are some of the big things, and those are things that are going to impact our clients, the retirees, because you have income that's yet to be taxed, and a lot of the decisions that we're making, are going to are impacted by taxes. But we also, as that big beautiful bill has to go through, what is a bill? It has to go through the Senate and back to the House. We're actually watching what the Senate is doing here as well, and they have not voted on this, so this is just what we're seeing in the news, what's coming out of Congress. But I want to go through a few things that they're looking at. First, they're reviewing the SALT changes, and this is going to be probably the biggest fighting thing that people fight over. They're estimating the SALT charges are going to cost $350 billion. And if they can bring it down to 20,000 or 30,000 as opposed to the 40,000, I think you're going to see some negotiations on that one. Even President Trump has said that he's okay with negotiations on that one. The other thing we're looking at is the no tax on tips and overtime. They're worried that might be too costly. Now, President Trump really wants that one in there. Again, that doesn't impact many retirees, but we do have people who've gone back to work as servers and bartenders just for some extra money, and that could, that might impact them. Reviewing the Medicare and Medicaid funding. So those first two are revenue generators. Medicare and Medicaid funding are expenses that come out there. And this has been a hot topic. There are certain states that don't want Medicaid cut as much. They want Medicare cut as much. They don't want to cut as soon, give people more time. I don't know what's going to happen here. This is going to be a hot button topic to watch here. The green energy credits is another big one. There are some senators that want to bring those green energy credits back in, or they at least want to give some clarity to businesses that have already claimed a lot of green energy credits. And the last one out there is they're talking about reinstating some small business tax credits that come into play. So these are all things that we have to watch, because just because it's in the original House bill doesn't mean it's what's going to come out of Congress after they are all done. Now, what should you be doing here? This is important. First off, don't make any rash decisions. Don't run out and do anything until we see what the final bill is. But we do want to revisit your withdrawal strategy. A change in taxation is going to impact everything that you do, and revisiting where money comes from is going to be important. Now, is it going to impact most people? No, probably not. I mean, by most people, I mean most of our clients. It will impact a lot of people. But most of our clients, it's not going to have too much impact, but you do want to make sure you review it. This is also when you want to review your estate planning documents. And one of the things that they're talking about is raising the estate planning exemption up to $15 million per person. So it's $30 million per couple. We deal with some pretty wealthy people in our office, but we don't normally deal with that level of wealth. And so that's not going to impact a lot of people watching our tech-savvy YouTube show. But whenever they have these rules, it does sometimes make some nuanced changes inside of estate planning rules. So you just want to make sure you talk to your attorney and say, hey, do I need to update anything once this bill passes? And the last one up there is, this is a huge one. You need to plan for legislative uncertainty. You need to make sure that you're okay no matter what happens. And, as we talk about the Own Your Retirement Planning process, the whole big part of this is that you take ownership and control of your entire situation, because you don't want to be at the mercy of what the government does or what interest rates are or what the market does. You want to make sure that you're in control no matter what happens. And this is a great example of that, because I think we're going to have some legislative uncertainty for what we see coming forward here. So that's one of my big takeaways. So the big, beautiful bill is going to make some massive changes. I don't think it's going to be as massive as what we saw in 2018, but be prepared, because if this doesn't go through, if there's a lot of infighting, then we have other changes that we have to worry about. So I just want to give you guys an update as to what we're seeing on that, and please make sure you're paying attention to it. We know we are, and we'll be reaching out to a lot of our clients as this goes through the House and Senate there.
I have a few thoughts. I think one, if you have questions, pop them into the YouTube chat. Clayton giving you a shout out there. Yeah, Clayton, in shocking news, Josh wanted more control over the show, so he's pushing all the buttons now. I'm just running around trying to find the power cables for the camera. But pop your question to YouTube. If you think of something afterwards, just either reply to the email you got, with the links here, or email info@FSR Wealth. We'll get back to you. I do feel like we're going to be revisiting this topic several times here in the near future.
I think this is going to be a topic that we may even do a whole
video series
on, just because it's so important to what's happening out there to retirees.
Which, Clayton, you come in handy there, because you're going to help us set up our new studio, buddy. So we'll see you soon. Maybe he'll be here when we start recording those videos.
You make promises all the time.
I know. Well, Clayton's my man. All right, so if I'm going to summarize today's show, honestly, I think when people see that name Trump in the subject line of an email, I mean, it's going to trigger either like a love or a hatred response. So that's kind of why I did it. I wanted a lot of people, whoa, our wall is falling apart, tuning into the show, because it's going to impact a lot of people. But like everything else, you can't let your emotions take over. You can't make rash decisions. And I know for sure the clients that we help, we serve, we have these plans in place for a reason, to kind of handle this volatility. But yeah, that's my
That was well
full
said.
house. Thanks, man. I've learned a few things from you, Josh, along the way. Hey, we got 16 people hit the like button. If the rest of you could pop that like button, I'd really appreciate it. Plus, I'm still out of breath from running like 200 feet to the storage locker. But yeah.
Well, I'm just glad the camera still works. So
Yeah.
Well, everybody, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. And Dave, I didn't have enough coffee this morning.
Yeah.
When I drive in here, I was like, oh, thank God it's Java with Josh.
That's right. Let's do a nice little cheers for the. That's it.
I love the music, makes me happy.
All right, guys. I think we'll be back here shortly with the AI video and then more info on the big, beautiful bill.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
And I'm singing it loud. Love is all around. I'm floating away. Throw my hands up. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining bright and it's going my way. Birds in the sky and I'm singing it loud. Love is all around and I'm floating away with you.